I live in the city of Launceston, which lies in a valley where the waters of 3 rivers meet. I want to show you something of this lovely city. Perhaps the best way to start is from a helicopter. From up here, you can see its parklands and buildings spread out below. That's the North Esk River down there on the right. It's spanned by 2 bridges which carry traffic from the city to the suburbs around Invermay. The old wharves of the port of Launceston, once the busiest in the state, used to extend round this part of the North Esk, where the customs house still stands. Everybody knows King's Bridge across the South Esk River, because it marks the entrance to the Cataract Gorge. The South Esk runs into the River Tamar at this point near Trevallyn. In 1858, Launceston was made a town, and 6 years later, the foundations of this beautiful town hall were laid. In 1888, an Act of Parliament gave Launceston the rank of city. Here, near the town hall, are the public buildings and the post office. Our shopping centre is a busy one. It serves all the country folk around, as well as the people in the city and suburbs. This is Brisbane Street, the heart of the business centre. And here is Charles Street, with the Launceston General Hospital rising at the far end. Many of our banks are to be found in St John's Street. Launceston grew as a supply and marketing centre for the rich agricultural land of the north. Wool and wool manufactures have especially contributed to the city's development and prosperity. In the stores of the wool brokers, wool from the northern half of the island is classed and rebaled, to be sold by auction in November, February and May to buyers from all over the world. Now to see how wool is used in some of the local mills. At the famous Patons and Baldwins spinning mill, nearly 2,000 people are employed. Wool bought in Sydney, Melbourne, Launceston, Hobart and even New Zealand is blended as required and spun into knitting wool for use all over Australia. This is hand knitting wool, the kind that mothers and sisters use. This more finely spun wool is used by manufacturers for making machine knitted clothes. These are some of the woolen goods which are made here in Launceston at Pine's knitting mill. On the banks of the Tamar, not far from the wharves, we find Kelsall and Kemp's weaving mill. Warm blankets are made here and woolen cloth for women's clothes. The oldest woolen mill in Launceston, situated in the outer suburb of Waverley, has been producing blankets for many years. The suburbs of Launceston are growing rapidly. Quite a number of new factories have been built at Newnham, and most of them have well-known names. There's Nelson, the maker of Rayon fabrics, the Repco company, which makes car end bearings, and the Freighter Trailer Company, who manufacture haulage and road freighting equipment. At the East Tamar Packing Company, apples and pears are graded and packed for export from Port Launceston. At King's Meadows, houses are spreading along the main road to Hobart, and new factories are being built here too. There's Berger's new paint factory, and nearby the new Peter's ice cream factory. Launceston's timber industry is second only to wool. Here at the Tasmanian board mills at Killafaddy, logs are cut into boards which are then dried by steam in huge kilns. In a carpenter's workshop at the board mills, furniture is being assembled for the local market. And not far away, cartons are being made from rolls of special container board, derived chiefly from wood. These strong containers are used for the packaging of Tasmanian foodstuffs for freighting purposes. Seeing this old engine in the marshalling yard of the railway station reminds me that our city pioneered railways in Tasmania. The first railway in the state was built in 1871 and ran to Deloraine, about 36 miles away. Today, Launceston is well served by trains, and modern diesel engines have taken the place of the old steam train. Steam engines may be too expensive to operate, but don't they look impressive? In other things, too, changes have been made. For many years past, the streets and houses here have been lit by electricity generated by the old power station on the South Esk River. This was the first electricity scheme to be built in Tasmania. The old station is now abandoned, and its functions have been taken over by the Trevallyn power scheme, which helps to supply the rest of Tasmania with electricity. This map of the new power scheme shows water from the dam on the South Esk River being pumped into a tunnel cut in the hills, passing through the power station and into the River Tamar. Inside the station, the rushing water passes through 4 turbo alternators, which generate the electricity. Then it flows through underground pipes out into the Tamar River.
Here in Launceston, about 10,000 pupils attend 38 schools built in the city and suburbs. I know most of us think our schools are very good ones. At the G.V. Brooks Community School at Newnham, each class has its home in a separate building set among the trees. It looks just like a little village, especially when seen from the air. Not far away is the Church Grammar School, founded in 1846. Most people in Launceston seem to be interested in growing trees, shrubs, and flowers. The City Council sets a fine example by creating beautiful parks and gardens. Indeed, Launceston has a very large area of parkland compared to the area of the city. In the city park, the John Hart Conservatory is well worth seeing. For most of the year, it is banked high with flowers. On a hot day, we envy the swans and ducks dabbling in their cool pond. Oh, hello. One little duck got lost. Fun feeding the monkeys, too. There's the mother monkey with her baby. He was born in the park not very long ago. The kangaroos and wallabies in the city park live in a tiny bushland of their own. A few city blocks away lies the Royal Park on the banks of the River Tamar. And here, from under the swaying willows, we can see the ships tied up at the Launceston wharves. It's very peaceful, too, in Prince's Square on Sunday morning. In the background is St. John's, one of the oldest churches in Launceston.
A favourite place for relaxation is the Cataract Gorge on the South Esk River. A path along the side of the river leads to the gorge grounds, where a suspension bridge crosses to the Olympic pool, built on the opposite side of the first basin. Isn't this a fine place to spend an afternoon? And now we must leave this sunny spot to show you a last glimpse of Launceston. The lookout tower in Talbot Road gives us a good view of the city. This, as we have shown you, is our city, a marketing and supply centre for a rich agricultural area, a manufacturing centre where industries, particularly the wool industries, provide work for many of the population of 53,000.